Dober dan and welcome back to Se Vidimo. This is epizoda 3 and I'm so happy you're here. Or as we say in Slovene, vesela sem, da ste tukaj. Before we dive into today's topic, let's start with a little homework review from the last episode. If you remember, I posted some tricky Slovene words on my Instagram. That's se_vidimo 6. And I asked you to practice their pronunciation. Let's go through them together again and I'll say each one slowly so you can hear it clearly. Europa, Europe. Here the V sounds like U. Vesel, happy. The L sounds like U. Vino, wine. V stays as V. Hvala, thank you. V again sounds like V. And finally, polnilec, a charger. The first L sounds like U. Now, in the last episode, we talked about letters and numbers, and I mentioned that knowing those two things will help you answer some basic questions in Slovene. And that's exactly what we are going to do today. We'll learn how to introduce and ask basic questions when meeting someone new. Because, as we say in Slovene, prvi vtis je zelo pomemben. The first impression is very important. Before we start, remember that Slovene has two forms of addressing people, formal and informal. We use informal language with friends, family, or people our own age. Formal language is for the people we don't know well, older people, or in professional situations, just like in many other languages. So, I'll give you both versions each time. Ready? Let's go! Let's start with the basics. Kako ti je ime? That's informal and it means what's your name? The formal version is Kako vam je ime? Sometimes people will also ask Kdo si pa ti? Or Kdo ste pa vi? Which means and who are you? It's a bit friendlier, often used with a smile or when someone's pleasantly surprised to meet you. Your answer is simple. Sem Polona. I'm Polona. Next one is Kako se pišeš? Informal. Or Kako se pišete? Formal. It comes from the verb pisati, which means to write. But in this context, it means what's your surname? You can answer with Pišem se Novak. My surname is Novak. Sometimes, if your surname sounds unfamiliar, people might ask, Kako se to napiše? How do you write that? That's when you'll need your spelling skills. For example, Bezgovšek. B, E, Z, G, O, V, Š, E, K. And speaking of that, your homework for today. Try spelling your surname in Slovene. Write it down and say it out loud. It's a great pronunciation practice. Alright, moving on to how old are you? Koliko si star, if you're asking a man, or koliko si stara, if you're asking a woman. Formally, we say koliko ste stari, and your answer would be star sem, this and this let, for male, or stara sem, this and this let, for woman. I am, this and this, years old. For example, stara sem 27 let. I'm 27 years old. Now, next one might be useful if you're making friends or, who knows, maybe meeting someone special. Informal. A mi daš telefonsko številko? Formal. A mi daste telefonsko številko? Meaning, can you give me your phone number? You can answer Ja, Moja telefonska številka je. Yes, my phone number is. Or if you prefer to keep it private, ne. Simple as that. Next one is very similar to the previous question. A mi daš naslov, prosim? That's informal. A mi daste naslov, prosim? Formal, meaning, can you give me your address, please? And your answer would be, ja, moj naslov je. Yes, my address is. Or again, just ne. We can do the same with an email address. Just replace naslov with email. A mi daš email, prosim? Or a mi daste email, prosim? And you'd answer, ja, moj email je. When saying your email, here are some handy words to know. Pika, dot. Minus, minus. Afna, @sign. And črtica spodaj, underline. So, for example, Janez, črtica spodaj Novak 6, avna.slovene.com. Now let's talk about where you are from in Slovene. Od kod si? Informal. Od kod ste? Formal, meaning where are you from? But here comes something interesting. When you answer, the word for the country or city changes slightly, because Slovene uses cases. Don't worry, we'll only touch one today, and it's quite simple. The examples are: Sem iz Slovenije. I am from Slovenia. Sem iz Pakistana. I am from Pakistan. Sem iz Celja. I am from Celje. So, what's happening here? It's all because of the little word iz, which means from. Depending on whether a word is feminine, masculine, or neuter, the ending changes a bit. If a word is feminine, Slovenia, Slovenije, A changes to E. For masculine, Pakistan, Pakistana, we need to add an ending A. And for neuter, Celje, Celja, E changes to A. It's a small but important detail. I'll post a few more examples in the podcast description and on Instagram. You can practice by writing your own answers in the comments. You also might want to know what someone does for a living. To ask that, say, Kaj si po poklicu? Informal. Or Kaj ste po poklicu? Formal. That means, what's your profession? And possible answers to this question are: Po poklicu sem. My profession is. Delam kot. I work as. Sem. I am. And if you are retired, sem upokojen. For a man, sem upokojena. For a woman. Let's learn a few professions. Učitelj, učiteljica, a teacher. Zdravnik, zdravnica, a doctor. Študent, študentka, a student. In this case, you can say, sem še študent, I am still a student. Inženir, inženirka, an engineer. Natakar, natakarica, waiter or waitress. Frizer, frizerka, a hairdresser. My profession is učiteljica because I'm a teacher, and since I'm a female, I use the feminine form. Now for the last question of the day. Katere jezike govoriš? Informal. Katere jezike govorite? Formal, meaning what languages do you speak? You can answer with the verb govoriti, to speak. So, for example, govorim angleško, francosko, nemško, poljsko, špansko in malo slovensko. That means I speak English, French, German, Polish, Spanish and a little Slovene. People might also ask, koliko jezikov govoriš? Or koliko jezikov govorite? Meaning, how many languages do you speak? And you can answer, govorim 6 jezikov. I speak 6 languages. Let's hear now a short conversation with all of these questions. Živjo!
Zdravo,
Kako ti je ime?
sem Janez. In ti, kako ti je ime?
Jaz sem Polona. Kako se pišeš, Janez?
Pišem se Novak.
In koliko si star?
Star sem 30 let.
Od kod si?
Sem iz Slovenije, iz Maribora.
Kaj pa si po poklicu?
Sem učitelj na univerzi.
O, super! In katere jezike govoriš?
Govorim slovensko, angleško, francosko in malo nemško.
Wow, govoriš 5 jezikov. A mi daš naslov in telefonsko številko?
Ja, moj naslov je Povšetova ulica 7. In moja telefonska številka je 051 275 985.
Hvala. A mi daš še e-mail, prosim?
Seveda, moj e-mail je janez.novak8@gmail.com.
Super, hvala. Se vidiva.
Adijo.
And that's it for today's episode. We've covered a lot. Names, surnames, age, address, email, where you're from, your profession, and the languages you speak. Now you have everything you need to start a friendly introduction in Slovene. I'll post some vocabulary and examples on my Instagram, so you can review them and practice. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, keep practicing a little every day, and you'll be surprised how quickly you'll improve. Hvala lepa, and as always, se vidimo!